All right. It looks like we are live here. Welcome, everyone. I am so glad that you have joined us. Let me check our tech here. We are streaming live on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on YouTube. And it looks like we are good to go, up and running. And I am just excited that you have joined us this Wednesday. So, if you would like everyone to let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat, and if you are catching this on the replay, make sure to use hashtag replay so that I'll know that when I'm reading the comments later. And if you are tuning in from Facebook, this is real important. Go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give StreamYard permission to see your name. Otherwise, it just says Facebook user. And if you leave me a comment, I will not know who you are. And that's not any good. So I want to know who you are. And speaking of knowing who you are, if I am new to you and you are new to me, let me introduce myself. My name is Beverly Smith. I am the founder of Career Success Strategies. And I'm the former business owner of a staffing and recruiting firm. So I know firsthand what hiring managers are looking for. I used to hire my own people, and I'm use that knowledge to help mid and senior level professionals build their resumes and help them with their job search strategies so that they can land the career of their dreams. So if you joined me last month, you heard me say that September is Update Your Resume Month. And so this month we are discussing all things resume, and I am super excited to bring on a special guest, Laura DeCarlo, to tell you more about Update Your Resume Month and to offer you strategies to update your resume with ease. So Laura is the president and founder of Career Directors International, which is a global association of professional resume writers and career coaches. She is the author of Resumes for Dummies, of Interviewing the Gold Standard, and she's the co-author of a book called Job Search Bloopers. Now that sounds like a lot of fun. She also holds 16 or so certifications in resume writing, career coaching, and business development. Laura loves her role as a self-proclaimed career hero and likes to stress that she does not actually work writing resumes anymore or coaching job seekers, but instead she supercharges the professional resume writers and career coaches who do work with job seekers. And I have to add, I am proud to call Laura my friend and my mentor. So welcome, Laura. We're glad you're here.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. And thank you for that wonderful, supercharged welcome.
Well, let's just jump right in because I know everyone is wanting to know a little bit more about what is Update Your Resume Month. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So Update Your Resume Month is actually a registered U.S. holiday. It takes place the entire month of September. And in our former life, before we were Career Directors International, our PR representative suggested we register that event. So it is, I would say it's probably 23 years old now. And in all these years, we've watched the number of times people talk about it and use it as a launch pad for educating job seekers to just, have grown exponentially. It's fabulous because it's important to keep your resume up to date. So it's really all about encouraging anyone who works with job seekers to build awareness for the fact that you don't want to wait until you need your resume to then try to scurry to get it updated, because you can miss out on a dream opportunity.
Sure. So you kind of already addressed this, but tell me a little bit more about why it's so important to keep that resume up to date. And even for those people that maybe are not actively job searching for.
Yeah, so it's really surprising the number of reasons why it can be valuable. And Specifically, we chose September because we thought it was like just that kind of harmonious timing, at least back in the day. All kids were back to school in August. And we were on that precipice between, kids are settled in school and the holidays aren't quite on us yet. So, what a great time to get yourself to do that career caretaking and get yourself lined up so that when you were toasting your New Year's resolutions, if one of them involved your career, you already had one part of it taken care of. But so it's not just about the day you wake up and go, I deserve to be paid more, or I need a career change, or I graduated, it's time. It's really about recognizing that you would love to have your resume updated if you were to, excuse me, I hope you can't hear that. I don't know what she's doing. Uh, so having an updated resume can benefit you. You have your evaluation come up. Guess what? Bring your updated resume to your evaluation. I have been amazed the number of clients when I was working with job seekers who, I encouraged to do this. And, not, oh, are you job searching? No, I'm not job searching, but I find it important to, keep track of the contributions I'm making and be able to present this to you so that we're on the same page of what I've brought to the company. I've seen people get pretty impressive raises and opportunities. I've had bosses say, I didn't realize how much you were doing, and find a way to increase their remuneration. Also, that great opportunity comes up out of nowhere. You want to be ready. Also, the confidence build that it can be to have kept a record consistently so that you have that resume up to date and ready to go. You know your worth. You're not taking for granted the value that you bring to the table. And then that much smaller, what if an opportunity comes up in your company and they're like, we need to be able to show your resume for this contract we're trying to land. How cool do you look when you've got a resume ready to go?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And I know for us, as when I was owned a staffing firm, we occasionally would bid for certain contracts, and I had to gather everyone's resume. And it's kind of funny because you would think in the staffing and recruiting industry, we would be all up to date, and everybody kind of went into a mild panic, like, oh my gosh, we've got to get something together. So
the shoemaker with holes in their shoes, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's golden advice to be able to take that into a review. I just feel like so many people don't even think about that. And I know from running my own business, sometimes it's hard. You've got all these moving parts and you kind of forget how much people are taking on and what they are doing. And so that's such a good reminder. And I think it can also help an employer look and see, do they need to go back and tweak some job descriptions as well? Because of things that are being done on the resume, or do they need to make some reorganization? So being able to show that's going to really help both sides as well.
Yes. And I'll share as a last thought. Now, obviously, this is a resume created because you were about to job search, but I do recall a client. I loved this. This was all on her own. She felt she was undervalued in her company. So, we redid her resume, and a professional resume by someone, like yourself, Beverly, is such a different animal than what most job seekers can create themselves. So my client saw herself on paper and she was like, oh my God, I'm amazing. And all on her own without me, so I can't take credit for this. But when she came back to fine tune her resume, she said, I'm fine tuning this just to have it on file. But I was so impressed with what I brought to the table that I met with my boss. And I said, I just want you to know, and I wouldn't suggest everybody does this, but in her case, she knew she was leaving, but she figured, hey, why not give them the chance? Because she did love her boss and her workplace. They were just undervaluing her. And she brought him her resume and she said, I've had my resume updated and I just wanted to leave you with a copy. She didn't tell him she was job searching or anything. But that kind of like the writing's on the wall when somebody does something that severe. I think she got like a 30% salary increase
Wow.
outside of bonus time, because he was like, we can't afford to lose you. And I didn't realize how much you were doing. And she said
Hmm.
that was what she was
Wow.
looking for, because
Yeah.
she just wanted to be valued for what she brought to the table. So updating her resume meant she didn't even have to job hunt. She just stopped getting taken for granted.
And I came across something recently, and it was showing, it was kind of fictional video showing the progression of two different job seekers over a 20-year period. And one of them had stayed loyal with her company over the 20 years. And I think what happens is a lot of times you don't realize the value that you bring to the table. And I know that I've experienced that same sentiment from people that I've worked with. When they get that resume back, they're like, hang on, are you sure this is me? Um,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure I can really present this. And I'm like, no, you don't realize you're amazing, and you've been underselling yourself.
Yeah.
And you can definitely, and in one particular example, she had a certain salary in mind. She went back after that and started looking for jobs that were $20,000 a year higher,
Yep. Yep.
and realized that she actually had those qualifications. So
Amazing. Yeah.
definitely, I think it's just huge. Well, Laura, one of the things I'd like to know, and I'd like for you to share with our audience today, is what strategies should job seekers use to make sure that they're able to easily update their resume?
Okay. So you might not be, I'm not expecting somebody to update their resume once a week or anything like that. And, as you can see with September's Update Your Resume month, we're pushing you to like make sure at least once a year you're updating your resume. But you can make it as easy as possible by keeping a record. And this record, again, is valuable because even if it's not in resume form, you're putting it down in paper, so you're remembering it, and um, you're able to celebrate it and feel good about it. And then when it's time to put it in the resume, it's all there. So keep a note file. That's typically like the professional version of a diary, right, where you're documenting what you have done, and that's beyond just responsibilities. But of course, because you would have those already most likely. But if you get added a responsibility, or you volunteer for the safety committee, or you become a team lead, document, stepped up or tapped to be team lead for this project,
Mhm.
and keep a running tab on things you improve. And this is a very key thing, because a lot of times people are like, well, I didn't tangibly make money or save money or anything like that. And I'm like, well, what did you do that made your job run smoother, better, faster, even if nobody else recognized it? Because
Mhm.
sometimes the achievements are just being taken for granted because you're just finding ways to do things better,
Mhm.
and not emphasizing them. But if you keep a running tab of what you have done when it comes time to write your resume, you won't be trying to remember, just like your boss is, all the things you brought to the table. And I think it's a gift to have too much information versus too little, because you can always rewrite, you can always take it to someone and have them write it up for you nicely,
Mhm.
and make it look good and sound good if you don't have the skill to do that. Which, again, this is a whole nother live session, but most job seekers are their own worst enemy. If you don't write your resume as a full-time job, if that's not what you do for a living, then you're probably the worst person to write your resume.
Absolutely. So I think too, when you're keeping that list updated continually, that's going to make working
Yeah.
with a professional writer a lot more easy. You're probably going to get more value from that experience, because there's not as much digging that has to be done. And then your writer can actually help you dig in and tell that career story.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to hit on that you just mentioned too, I see this a lot, and especially when I had a team that worked for me, there are a lot of people that work in roles that maybe aren't the revenue generators of the company. And so they cannot tangibly say, I saved the company X dollars by doing this. But there are some people that are very good at seeing things that need to be organized, things that need to be done. And I know in the last few years of my staffing business, I had that employee that I didn't even have to ask her. She just had this gift for going in and reorganizing things and making things better. And it made all of our lives so much easier. And I don't even think, she realized what a gift she had. So those are things that I think all job seekers, you need to really pay attention to. What are the other little things that you're doing behind the scenes?
Yeah, and I'll build on that to just say, because I was thinking while you were talking about how do I make this less hard. So it could be get a copy of your job description for your job, scan down your responsibilities, list anything you did that's not in your responsibilities, and if there was an outcome. So that you're building on extra things that you're doing. Look at each of those items and think, was there a special project I did in this area? So that's one way you could do that. You could just sit down like once a month, or if you're really focused, once a week, and do that. But the other thing would be some of the most successful people, I think, on earth are ones who end their day, which you could end your week if it's too much to end your day, or end your month, but they have like this decompression period where they look at, what did I accomplish? And what do I wish I'd done better? And they really evaluate where they are. And that would be the time where you can just sit and make notes. And the more often you do it, the easier it's going to be to remember them. Like I have an iPhone, and I have a note file where I put ideas in, and you could just as easily use the note file to put today. A perfect example of someone I know who they're in a job that doesn't have a metric based anything, but there's no way to have situations like that. They're a receiving clerk, and it wasn't even in their job, but when they got wind of the fact that a package had never arrived 6 months before, they did the legwork to find it, and that resulted in, surprisingly, finding a $150,000 piece of equipment that they were supposed to repair for their customer. And so now we have a metrics where we wouldn't have thought we would ever have one, right? So
Absolutely.
It's crazy what you'll come up with when you train that muscle to track.
Yeah. I think that's a golden advice too, to have a time, whether, like you said, it's weekly, monthly, or quarterly. I kind of like the monthly. I think that kind of makes sense. It's a good way to reflect back on what you got accomplished and reevaluate what maybe where you need to refocus and things like that. But also just reflecting back in realizing some of the things that you did get done and the impact that they had. And my goodness, finding $150,000 piece of equipment, that person would make my day.
You think? I know.
And I mean, probably save someone else, a lot of headache down the road for sure. So I'm going to jump over. I don't see any comments in the chat, but I will encourage you guys, if you have any questions, to please drop us a comment. And if you're catching this on the replay, remember to use hashtag replay so that we know. And but if you've got anything, sure, jump in and ask Laura. And if you do catch us on the replay and it is not something I can answer, I know how to get in touch with this girl, and I'll find out for you. But I'm not seeing anything right now. So I have another question for you, Laura. I want to go. Well, first of all, let me just say, is there anything else that you want to add in the way of update your resume month that you feel like we haven't covered yet?
No, the only thing I would say is that, if they're not ready to reach out to working with, hey, they're on your channel, so they should be reaching out to you. But if they're still in the DIY mentality, we do have a job seeker section on our website with a template for keeping your tracking. Like if you want to use a Word document to track the things
Mhm.
versus your note file on your phone. It's very simple, but there are Update Your Resume Month resources and other tools out there. We have a blog, we have some ebooks and things like that that are
Awesome.
available.
Very good. Very good. I do want to spend a few minutes and I want you to tell the audience a little bit more about Career Directors International. And you kind of mentioned some of the resources. And I think what's so interesting from my perspective is this organization, while it is designed to help professionals like myself that are resume writers and career coaches, there is a whole resource section for job seekers that is golden. And I'd love for you to tell us a little bit more about Career Directors International and those resources.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So careerdirectors.com is the website. When you go there as a job seeker, you will see we have very few navigation buttons, but one of them is jobs for job seekers. And clicking in there, you will find, as I was saying before, ebooks, articles. We do feature the award-winning resumes, and by award-winning, I mean ones that have actually won awards in our annual Toast of the Resume Industry resume competition. You can find their authors from there. We also list tools and resources that are created by that were awarded for being innovative in helping job seekers. But probably the place that's easiest to access is, there's two. One is the blog, where our members share their expertise. And probably my favorite thing is the Q&A. We do post typically a couple times a month, sometimes more, where we answer a job seeker's question, and multiple career professionals will chime in on that. But you can find just about every topic under the sun in our blog. And then we have our Find a Career Pro section. Like, for some reason, if you wanted to go learn more about Beverly, you could go there. Or you can search for just about anything. Like, say Beverly doesn't specialize in what you want, doesn't have a referral for you. You can probably find that niche person within the careerdirectors.com Find a Career Pro database. And not to toot mine or CDI's horn too much, but I'm very proud of what we do, because we are not a resume writing mill. We are not about, let's go make money off of job seekers. We are based on a foundation of systems and practices that work and that are successful in getting job seekers back to work faster. Now, to be a member, it doesn't mean you're absolutely using those tools, but we are the home where if somebody is going to choose to be affiliated as a resume writer or career coach, or they want to know that they have the best, the brightest, and what works today, CDI is where they're going to find it and bring it.
Yeah. Definitely, definitely. And I think one of the things that you mentioned is not all of us writers write everybody's resume. There's a lot of us that specialize, just like I specialize in working with mid and senior level professionals. There are people out there that specialize in working with military folks that are moving over into civilian jobs. I have referred people over to writers that do federal resumes, which is a whole different animal.
Yeah.
And
New
so,
graduates.
yes, new grads, there's just a whole group there. And so CDI can be a great resource for so many people. So, Laura, I want to talk to you. I want to ask you where social handles that you can be found or followed. You want to share those with the group? And I will put you actually gave me a link, and I will put that link for career directors in our chat, so everyone will be able to find that. But tell me about social handles where we can find you and follow you.
Right. Yeah, if you could share the one on Update Your Resume Month, and then I know that one on the job seeker section, that would be fabulous.
Yes, great.
Well, I'm a little bit everywhere. Our finding me through CDI is typically the easiest thing. So I'm on Instagram as Career Directors INTL. That's our handle. You can find us our Facebook page, Career Directors International. And same thing on LinkedIn, Career Directors International. We have a business page. And I myself, Laura DeCarlo, same face, same look, but I'm wearing red. You want to track down my personal profile, but it's me. I am the head and the voice of the organization. So wherever you go, I'm going to be there.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. And guys, I hope that you found our conversation today to be helpful. And if you want to know more about Update Your Resume Month, if this has triggered questions for you and you want to, you're welcome to direct message me directly. If you have questions that we didn't address and you don't feel comfortable leaving them in the comments. Also, guys, if you are interested in updating your resume or would like a review of your current resume, I do offer a free consultation. I specialize in working with mid and senior level professionals, and we can talk in more detail about some of the trends and what things that would be helpful to you in your job search. Also, finally, I wanted to add, if you are catching this on the replay and you do have a question, make sure you use hashtag replay. And I will be posting a link in the comments to career directors specifically on Update Your Resume Month. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday at 12:45 on our next video.